No, I mean, this is, a lot of this is
Do something untoward.
so it's not relevant, but looking for a
Ultimate
needle
legal
in the
issue.
haystack.
Get this thing worked on.
The Rockridge County Planning Commission should.
That the new one dealt with something.
The new one, I had trouble with email.
Yeah.
Three phases outside backbone. You'll enter it from Route 11, not from.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
as we approach the start of our meeting, I want to read the guidelines for addressing the Lexington City Council for public comments. The public comments are always welcome, and I invite you to sign up if you wish to speak tonight. We have a sign-up sheet over here. I will recognize those signed up during the citizens' remarks section of council's agenda. Citizens who wish to speak to council but neglect to sign up in advance may be permitted to address the council during citizens' remarks and comments agenda item, but only at the discretion of the mayor. When speaking to the city council, I ask that these guidelines be followed. Once recognized to speak, please step forward to the microphone, stand at the podium, and for the record, state your name and if you are a resident of Lexington, Virginia. If you want to be contacted after this meeting, please provide your contact information to the clerk. Please make your comments to the council as a whole. Do not engage the audience. Please be brief and state your position and provide facts. Please provide written statements and/or supporting materials to our clerk for the distribution to the council and the city manager. And debate is prohibited. This is a time for you to share your thoughts and ideas with city council. Please speak clearly as we want to hear what you have to say. And we ask if you, when you do speak, that you lean into the microphone so we can all hear you, especially those as we're recording it. Each speaker is allotted 3 minutes, and individuals may not yield their allotted time to another person. If you represent a group, 5 minutes are allotted, and you are invited to identify other members of your group who are in attendance. The council or mayor may allow exceptions to these guidelines at their discretion. I remind us all that meetings of the city council are formal proceedings and are recorded. And with that, I would like to call the meeting to order. And again, welcome everyone here this evening. First item of business, I've asked Miss B. Johnson if she will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Miss B. Come on down.
Ready, set, go. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States
of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am. Greatly appreciate it. Next item is consideration of the agenda. I'm not aware of any changes or additions. Unless there's an objection, we will approve the agenda as presented and move straight into presentations. I'd like to invite up Kim Shaw with the Rockbridge Area Community Services. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. As Frank said, sorry, Mayor Friedman, formal proceedings. I'm Kim Shaw with Rockbridge Area Community Services. This is Brianne Rogers. She is our communications coordinator, and she has been attending meetings with me this year so that people don't have to listen to my boring voice the whole time. She brings the energy. So that said, you all have packets in front of you that we have put together. Just wanted to give you a brief overview of what's in your packets. I believe you were all here last time that I presented last year, so I don't feel like I need to go over all the finer points. Obviously, we serve the 4 localities of Rockbridge, Buena Vista, Lexington, and Bath County. The CSB was established in 1982, and we provide mental health, substance use, intellectual, and developmental disability services. Within your packets, there's first off a fun Rain sticker for anybody that has kids. Rain is our facility dog. She actually provides a lot of services to individuals that come in. She helps to calm children and adults. So we are very grateful for having Rain and Ellen, her handler. Within the packet, you also have a fiscal year 24 report. our fiscal year 25 annual report is not ready or completed yet. There is also a purple sheet that has resources, names and numbers. You all might have seen that before. If you haven't, and if you want more, we have several packets of those at the office, and we're happy to provide those. Also, there are statistical data sheets within the packet. And I'm not going to go over all of the sheets. You can look at those yourself. I will just briefly highlight that overall in fiscal year 25, RAC served 1,820 unique clients and 369 emergency services. Of those, Lexington consecutively comes in at about 10%, with of that total at 191 for unique clients and then 48 for emergency services. So just want to share some of the new things that started last year or that will be starting this year, just kind of as a brief overview. Oh, yes, Brian just pointed out, there's also a
Keep it fun.
There's also a brochure in there for same-day access services. And it tells individuals all the things they need to know about accessing our services. So obviously they get that brochure when they're coming in. They already know that we exist, but just being there doesn't give them the path that they need to follow, doesn't tell them what to expect next, all the information that they're going to need to provide and bring. So we had an internal committee that worked really hard to create that, to give people, to make it easier to enter our services and to give them a comfort level. Some things that we started last year that are exciting for Lexington City is after many years of requests, we were finally able to get a therapeutic day treatment clinician at Waddell. So they were very excited about that. And we're glad that we were finally able to get that done. The other thing that we have coming is that we are going to be starting permanent supportive housing. That funding came through at the very end, like May 30, June 1st of this past year. But that will give us 15 slots to provide housing for individuals that we serve. They don't have to get all of our other services, but they do have to be willing to accept case management through that permanent supportive housing program. Those permanent supportive housing slots are not allowed to be, we have to work with landlords that have market rate rents. They're not allowed to be subsidy. So if you know of any landlords that would be willing to take a chance, not necessarily on the individuals we serve, but on us, because they will have a case manager that works very closely with them that checks in weekly, I do believe is how often they will be checking in, but I don't know all the ins and outs. So we've hired the staff for that. We have that supportive housing coordinator and the case manager. Also, last year, we were able, near the end of the last year, we started intensive outpatient groups, substance abuse intensive outpatient groups. We currently have 2 of those, and I believe they are both full, with 10 to 12 participants each. So we are the treatment component for the new Maury River Drug Court. And so part of those individuals participate in that intensive outpatient program. It really is intensive. They have to attend minimally 9 hours of service weekly with us. So it really is very intensive.
Kim, what does that service look like?
So they have some therapy, they have peers, they have group.
Okay.
I've not sat in on it, so I don't want to speak to things I don't know, but I do know that all of those components exist. So they're not just coming in working with one person for 9 hours every week. It's wraparound comprehensive services.
Gotcha.
And along those same lines, I mentioned last year, we had the peer program. So we still have the peer program and we have peers embedded throughout the agency in various programs. So we have mental health peers, we have substance use peers, we have family support partners that again help individuals access our services. Actually, gonna let you do that.
Yeah, so we actually have a testimonial. It's one of our first testimonials from a graduate from the IOP program. I shall speak into this.
Thank you, thank you.
If you all are okay, I have permission to be able to share this with you all today. So this is this individual's testimony. It says, the intensive outpatient program at Rockbridge Area Community Services has been a turning point in my battle with substance abuse. The structured and supportive environment provided accountability. Through group sessions with caring, knowledgeable class facilitators, practical skills were developed to navigate triggers and manage stress. The RAC staff helped develop a personalized plan that addressed my unique needs and helped to build a strong foundation for my sobriety. The strength of RAC's IOP lies in its comprehensive approach to recovery, like a lot like what Kim was talking about. The program extended beyond stopping substance use and focused on rebuilding a sustainable life. My participation in this community-focused program provided a vital support system and a renewed sense of belonging. Through the structured and care that I received through their IOP, it is now possible for me to break the cycle of addiction and build a healthier, more meaningful future. And for that, for that, I will be forever grateful. For anyone struggling with addiction and any type of substance use, I would highly recommend this program. And I would like to personally express my gratitude to all of those who assisted me in the beginning of my journey and for offering me lasting support in the future.
Wow.
Makes me tear up.
That was really powerful. We just got that yesterday.
Yeah, this week.
Yeah. So it's good to know that the program is working. It's doing what it's intended to do. And it's making a difference. So that was really exciting.
Awesome.
I did just want to share that we are still we continue to partner with Rockbridge Regional Jail. We actually partner more. They are contracting with us or we're contracting with them, however you want to say that.
Okay.
We have both men's and women's substance use groups happening over there weekly. They continue to also provide some of the maintenance services at our organization. And we continue to partner with Project Horizon to provide housing for those that are displaced due to domestic violence.
I'm going to jump in. So Kim talked a little bit about how our TDT program had been growing as well. So I wanted to jump in and share a little bit more of the things that we've been doing with our prevention services within the school systems. We've been listening to our schools. They've been asking us for curriculum on specific to vaping. That is an issue that has come to our attention the last few years. So we did a lot of research and we found a program called Catch My Breath. And we received a grant to be able to offer that program specifically, which focuses on vaping to our Lexington City schools. So that program has been going for a year. It is a 3-year grant. So they're entering their 2nd year of that one. And we also received a funding for dangers of fentanyl. We know that's not our #1 concern in our area, but it is here. And it's definitely in all of our neighboring counties as well. So we know that we have families that are impacted by that. And we want to try to make sure that we're still focusing on that as well. So we were able to implement our prevention team was able to implement the dangers of fentanyl curriculum in each one of the high schools in our area.
They're kind of building off of that. And this another preventative type service. We continue to partner with local law enforcement to offer the CIT program. So that's crisis intervention training. That's an intensive 40-hour training. We work with Lexington City, with all of our local law enforcement, BV, the sheriff's department. At one point in time, before we had turnover with COVID and different things of that nature, pretty much 100% of the officers were trained, which is amazing because it gives them the skills that they need to be able to de-escalate a situation. So those are some of the good things that we have going, that we've been doing, that we continue to do. I know Brienne is itching to tell you about some programs.
Yes. So I just have to do a shout out because it's December and we have several things that are going on this month. The first thing that's coming up is our veteran breakfast, which is next Tuesday. So if you all know any veterans or are any of you all veterans? So No. Well, I was gonna say thank you for your service if you are. But if you know any veterans or have any family members that are veterans, please let them know that every second Tuesday of the month, we offer a free breakfast. The next one that's coming up is December the 9th, so next Tuesday. And I'm learning military language, so it's 08:30 is the time. So at 8:30 in the morning, and it is free. And it's a great opportunity for them to learn a little bit more about the services that are offered specifically for veterans in our area. We try to bring in speakers. We do have a veteran peer that is helping to coordinate that effort. And then this coming Tuesday, right after the veteran breakfast, the VA is going to have their mobile vaccine clinic at the VFW building as well. So anybody who receives services through the VA can then also get vaccines right after the breakfast. So they can eat and then get their breakfast. The next thing that's coming up is our Magnolia Center. Have you all heard of Magnolia Center before?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yay. So the Magnolia Center, they call themselves the Magnolia Players when it comes to their Christmas play. If you have not been, I would highly encourage it. These individuals, they plan this from July on. Everything, the costumes, the backdrop, the words that they say, the songs that they sing, it is incredible. It definitely starts my Christmas spirit. So I would encourage, if you can, if you have the opportunity, to please come. It's December the 16th and 17th. You only have to come to one of them. However, if you have both days open, I will tell you, you will get a different experience each time. It's just a lot of fun. So 1 o'clock at the Magnolia Center. And then also the last thing that we have coming up is December the 20th. It is our caregiver support group. Our early intervention team saw a need for parents and caregivers who have individuals with some kind of developmental or intellectual disability to really just get together and support each other. And they started this earlier last month. It really grew, and they still wanted to meet in December. So I know it's right before Christmas, but December the 20th, because they wanted it. So we're doing what they want. December the 20th between 10 to 12. And of course, all of these will have some kind of food. So we'll have food at each one of these just because food's important.
We like it.
We do like food.
Excellent. Excellent.
So I appreciate you all letting us come and share a little bit about what we have going on. Happy to try to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Members of council have questions.
What age groups are getting the Catch My Breath curriculum at our Lexington City schools?
That is a great question. So most of the school systems that we're offering are 5th and 7th grade. And that was based off of, it was a new grant, it was a new curriculum, and we were just trying to figure out how many classrooms. And we were also servicing more school systems with this curriculum. I will get back to you on that one. I think Lexington City offered or was looking at a different grade, but I can find out specifically which one.
It's really
they-
helpful. It's really interesting. I mean, you talk about vaping. I don't believe we have vape detectors at our middle school, but they have them in the high school, and they go off frequently for people vaping or not vaping, and it causes significant issues because people get taken to the principal's office if they're innocent because the detectors goes off. But
Right.
but thank you for educating our youth about vaping now. So.
Just trying to empower them with knowledge so that they can make a more educated decision.
And is that program led by someone at your organization or a teacher at the school?
It's led by one of our prevention team members.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Betts.
Thank you for all the important work that y'all are doing in the community.
Thank you.
Couple of questions. Remind me how many approximate employees you have?
115.
Right. Huge,
Yeah.
huge organization. Wow.
We actually have, we have a lot of changes potentially coming. And with that, we may, we're not going to lose any employees, but we may be adding employees because we may be adding some programming, but that is all still very early stages. So I'm not willing to,
Right.
in case it doesn't pan out.
Legislature's changing quite a few things,
Right,
and
right.
you will be significantly impacted, clearly. The housing that you mentioned, the permanent housing, 15 is the number?
15 is the number of slots we have, yes.
Okay. And funding for the slots, and how did we come up with 15?
DBHDS came up
Okay.
with 15 for us because it's a new program.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it exists in our neighboring counties,
Mhm.
not in Allegheny. Allegany's is new this year as well, so they have 15 slots also. But it does exist in other areas. Augusta specifically, the Saul area, they have many slots, but they've also been doing the program for probably 10 to 15 years.
Do you anticipate being oversubscribed or?
I'm hoping that we can fill all the slots, considering everything that's been going on recently with the HUD changes from the federal. That doesn't affect this program.
Gotcha.
So I
Mhm.
have a feeling that we may fill these slots up quicker than we thought we would. But there are very specific criteria
Right.
for both landlords and for the individuals participating.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Go ahead.
No, Frank, it's.
No. What is your all's involvement or connectivity to Hope House? Because obviously a lot of those folks may be constituents.
Yeah, so we, we're all about collaboration, not competition. I do know that we have some back and forth referrals, I believe, time to time. The success story that Brianne read, I believe it's actually an individual that's living at Hope House.
Excellent.
So we have that. Honestly, they provide a lot of the same services that we
Right.
provide. It's nice actually that they step into the arena because they don't have the red tape that we have, right? We are licensed programs. Everything we do is licensed. We have to deal with DMAS,
Mhm.
with Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services. So there's a lot of red tape. So when both the health center, because I know they provide a lot of behavioral health therapy type services, stepped in, and Rockbridge Recovery, they are able to offer to people and in ways that we are not able to offer. So, again, we're all about collaboration and not competition.
Very good. Very good. And my last question for now, the Magnolia Players, what are the dates on that? And as you're approaching, encourage everyone to check your calendar and make a point to attend. It is absolutely fantastic production.
It's just a joy. So December 16th and 17th at 1 p.m.
Okay. Thank you.
And if you all don't know where Magnolia Center is, it's 75 Village Way in Lexington.
Excellent.
I did have one more question about the housing. You said 15 slots is kind of the, I guess maybe the standard to start off with. And you mentioned Stanton, Augusta, Waynesboro has more slots. If the 15 slots fill up and the program's going well in the future, could you all apply for more slots?
We can.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And just a follow-up question on that, on the housing, which is very exciting, is that, how long is that funding in place, or do you know?
So for right now, the initial money that we received was for fiscal year 25 and 26. I told you when we received the money, right? Uh-huh. So, it's a significant amount of money. And the assumption is that it will be ongoing, but I don't know if it will be ongoing to that level. It will likely depend upon how many of the units, the slots that we have filled, and they will, continue to provide the funding to cover the slots that we have filled and the staffing. But I don't want to give
Right.
incorrect information. I really do not. I can't answer that with any great level of certainty.
It's like any government program. It's funded until it's not.
Right.
But it sounds like you have, what, 2 years, or is that what it?
We do. I don't think
And
they're
don't-
going to take away the money that has already been allocated. So my thought is that since we received the money again, June 1st at the very end of fiscal year 25, that we should definitely have enough to carry us through 26 and 27. That is my hope.
Thank you.
Yes.
Before you go, two things. One, we have 3 of our police officers in the room. So if you don't know them, I hope you get connected because I think they're pretty new. Opportunity to collaborate and work together. And also wanted to recognize Len Denicola, Mike Gilmore, and James Gira, who have been board members for a number of years. James and Mike. Len used to work at CSB, and when he retired, said, I really like the place. I think I can make some contributions, and came on as a board member. He's had some challenges and has left. So we do have a vacancy on that board to appoint. But thank you for your all's time and attention. Our ambition is to stay connected with our agencies that we support financially. And we want to also support you morally and mentally and physically. Coming to Magnolia Players and other things that opportunities that are out there for all of us as elected officials, but also for the citizens to come and engage and make our community a stronger fiber.
Well, we appreciate you letting us come speak to you and for the support. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
You all have a Merry Christmas.
Yes. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's exciting to see the good work going on in the community. And speaking of good work in the community, I'll call on Chief Panbianco to administer the oath to our newly sworn officers, Cody and Ben. Welcome, gentlemen.
I'll stay there. In the past, I've kind of addressed the council with these remarks, but I'm going to change that and address it to the officers because I want them to understand the importance of what we're going to do today. So I'd like to take a moment to talk to both of you to tell you just how important your job is. We have the authority that's granted to us to make stops and arrests and write tickets and issue citations and so forth. Along with that authority, we want you to understand there's a responsibility. And that responsibility is to protect the public, to maintain order, and to offer guidance when needed, to tell of services like we just talked about. And the authority is granted by the state. You stand before the clerk of court, you raise your hand, she swears you in, and you are given that authority to do the job. But with that authority comes a duty to carry ourselves with honor, integrity, and to be that community service. So for that reason, it's been my habit to ask all new employees and newly promoted employees to take what we call the oath of honor. And it was developed through the IACP. And we do that in front of council, the public, and the internet. So, at the end of this, you guys have already signed your oaths. Each of you will get one of these to take home. And I appreciate that you do that, because what I hope you do is that you take these home and you frame them or you put them up on your wall somewhere. So occasionally you will look at that and it'll be a reminder. So as we get going, I want to tell you a little bit about the oath, because I want you to understand some of the verbiage that's in it. Honor. Honor means that we give our word, and our word is our bond. It's our guarantee. The badge of authority. We talked about how you get that authority. That badge is a visible symbol of the power that has been granted to you. Integrity is a firm adherence to the principles, both in your private and your public life, because as a police officer, you live in a glass house. People are going to look to you to see what you're doing, and they're going to expect you to be at a level. And accountability, and that's one of the most important, is that it means we're answerable and we're responsible for our actions. So we're going to issue the oath. So if each of you will raise your right hand and repeat after me, and I'll do it slow so that we can do it correctly. On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I will continue and always uphold the Constitution, the community, and the agency I serve. So help me God. Fellas, I appreciate that you each have taken this oath. It is an oath that I hope you refer to from time to time as your career gets going, and we sometimes get caught up in the emotion of things. You just have to remember that in every instance, you're the professional and the adult and you're accountable to the public. That's why we do this. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chief, and gentlemen, thank you for being with us this evening, and thank you for keeping our community safe and educated and informed of community that we have.
Thank you. And I will say this, I'm very proud of both these officers and we're very lucky to have them on our staff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You will recall earlier in the week, we had a call for a rowdy rooster, and Cody got props from Miss Howison. So Cody, thank you, and job well done. Thank you again for being with us, and have a great week, great evening. Merry Christmas. Next item on our agenda is a public hearing on ordinance 2025-10. Looking at some financial issues, and we'll call on Jen Bell to walk us through. Welcome.
Thank you. So tonight's ordinance has a couple things going on. So I'll just try to take them through step by step, but also without boring you by reading you numbers. So the first section of the request in tonight's ordinance is for the carryovers from FY25. And these are really just run-of-the-mill, unused grant funds that the city has received that we'll want to spend this year, and smaller amounts for purchase orders that were begun but weren't closed out in the year. So looking through at the general fund, there really aren't any of note that you haven't seen year after year. Similarly in the school fund, this year was a little bit different where they received their tuition payments early for some students, so we want to move that forward to FY26. And the stormwater fund, a negligible amount, carrying forward for expenses related to the Diamond Street project. The utility fund, these are large numbers, and they're all related to projects that are in one stage or another of completion. In the equipment replacement fund, we have 2 vehicles that we wanted to bring forward that were ordered in 2023. And so the public works truck, we did receive that in July, and the ambulance, the final inspection, really truly this time we mean it, is set for sometime between December 9th and 11th. So we'll get it shortly thereafter. If for some reason it gets canceled, it'll be after the new year, according to Chief Dickerson. And then in capital projects, there are several projects that were begun last year or the year before that. We have some more funds that are needed to finish those projects. Okay, so any questions in general on the carryovers?
You mentioned that there was a final inspection on the ambulance. Is there was already some inspections conducted, or?
It was rescheduled
Okay.
often, and then dates were missed on delivery of certain parts and accoutrement. So,
Thanks.
yeah, but we think it's ready now.
Jen, pure curiosity question, and if you have it, and I'm sorry I didn't alert before, but the asset forfeiture funds for the police department,
Yeah.
What was that? There is that?
Those generally come to us from the state. We're part of a sharing program where when
Okay.
items are seized, we get a portion.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll move on now to our FY26 first quarter budget amendments. So several weeks ago, I came before you and talked about some freezes on spending, and one of them was the 100,000 on Jordan's Point Park for FY26. However, as you probably noted in the carryover request, we have a large amount to carry forward to FY26. So we still don't plan to touch the 100,000 that was budgeted for FY26, but we would like to reallocate some other funds that we know we're not going to need in FY26. Notably, the almost $23,000 that was budgeted for central dispatch, but they received a grant. And then $35,000. We were going to retile the pool this year, and we're just gonna push that out one more year so we can get the Jordan's Point Park finished up. If approved, that's the plan. And then we also purchased a new Christmas tree for Hopkins Green. And it was a little bit more than we anticipated. We had $15,000 budgeted for downtown enhancement. And we would like to reallocate just over $3,000 from the community activity support to downtown enhancement in order to make up the difference. And then lastly, Central Dispatch did have a surplus at the end of FY25, and they returned just over $20,000 to the city. So we'd like to request to use just over $8,400 to fill the gap and fully fund the Rockbridge SPCA request. And then also to purchase acoustic panels for the community room at the school board office.
Is that planner that's right by Cornerstone Bank, is that part of downtown enhancement? I noticed that it like the plan has changed. I don't know if y'all are.
I think we're paying for it from just some other line.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Upward.
part of the downtown enhancement, and that's really there to be, if needed, a sacrificial item that is sacrificed so that the pole.
Yeah, I just noticed that the plant that was in it changed. I didn't know if that was.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on that. I'll be
Yeah,
happy to share them with you offline. I
Okay.
wasn't a big fan of the plant we had, but
fair enough.
we can talk later.
Jen,
Shall I
can-
move on? Oh,
just-
sorry.
Quick question, can you remind me the Jordan's Point work? What?
It's largely paving with the driveway and then the picnic area.
Yeah, some of this is the picnic area and the boat launch is part of the FY26 budgeted effort. And because this is being spread out over several fiscal years, there's moving parts, as Jen has articulated, with leftover money from FY25, some budget freezes for FY26. So it's a bit of a jumbled mess. But it's all going to work out in terms of what the FY26 effort will be, but it'll be in the spring.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on to some appropriations. I understand you all probably saw the cemetery appropriation and thought we haven't in the history of Lexington ever done this. It is something that the GFOA noted on our last application, just that it's best practice. And so our auditors have reinforced this. So I would like to go ahead and pass this appropriation for the cemetery fund. And being that this is a new practice and it's largely driven by interest earnings, I really, full transparency, I just used the average of the past several years of actual numbers to get the budget for FY26. And then next for the DSS, the Rockbridge Human Services Center, the auditors, I'd spoken with them back and forth about how we were really going to handle that. And it was agreed that it'll be the Lexington Council that approves the appropriation after everything's agreed by Tom, Jason, and Spencer. So that's what you see before you here. All of the money we are proposing to spend is covered under the grant proceeds, with the exception of the debt service, which will be charged among the 3 localities.
That last comment that you made, it'll all be, other than the debt service, it'll all be covered under a grant?
No, the bond,
Bond,
the
okay.
2025 bond issue we
Okay.
did. Mhm.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
The fact that we were flying under the radar, as it were, for the cemetery fund appropriation, and all of a sudden, was it the earnings and interest that put it above a threshold that got the auditors to say, or how did we not detail it until
For a decade.
now? Yeah.
I believe what happened was that we just had a very thorough reviewer on our GFOA submission, because we've been submitting it the same way for years and years. And then all of a sudden they noticed this And so the auditors agreed with them and said we should do that.
Any other notes that came along with the cemetery fund appropriation, like other recommendations that came along with that?
No,
Okay. Good.
right?
And to be clear, the 1.944 is the cemetery trust money that's managed by Truist. That the,
Yes. Oh, did I put that in there?
I think, yeah,
Okay.
right above the.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and so then that's the other part of the issue, and it's hard to even gauge what the interest earnings might be because we don't fully know what we're invested in. We get statements, but it's all up to the trustees at Truist.
I hope, I've opined in the past and will echo that it continues to be maintained as a growth style investment, not an income style investment, because the cemetery operations are not reliant upon that income stream. Thank you. Any other questions for Jen? Thank you, Ms. Jen. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing and invite anyone who would like to speak to this matter of the the ordinance 2025-10 to speak now or forever hold your peace. And not seeing anyone waving, or I was accused by Doug Harwood earlier in the week about pushing too quickly, but I think I've given people ample time and I don't identify anyone wishing to speak on this. I'll close the public hearing at 7:41 and ask for council's discussion and consideration.
I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2025-10, a budget amendment incorporating carryover requests from FY 25 to FY 26, FY 26 budget amendment requests, and FY 26 budget appropriations for the Cemetery Fund and Rockbridge Human Services Fund.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I would ask for a roll call vote. Mr. Driscoll.
Aye.
Ms. Strawn.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Betts.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Alexander. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you all very much. No minutes for your consideration. Citizens' remarks and comments. Is there anyone here who would like to speak to City Council this evening on any items? Not seeing anyone. Doug Harwood also threatened to speak this evening if he finished up Buena Vista. He was not pleased that we had an artificial tree for our Christmas tree. Suggested that we made a bad decision. I told him thank you. But with him not here and not seeing anybody that would like to speak to council, we'll move on and look at reports and communications. The Blue Ridge Resource Authority, Mr. Smith.
No report.
Are you sure?
Unless you want to hear about the new mini excavator we got to help load tires, but didn't seem to be worth mentioning.
Is there a video that goes with that?
Bobcat?
Not yet.
Not yet. Very good. Main Street, Lexington, Mr. Smith.
Lots of stuff going on, of course, these days. Christmas parade is tomorrow. Kickoff is at 6 o'clock. The candlelight processional was well attended. It's estimated 12,000 folks came out, despite the chilly temps. Tons of compliments about the look and placement of the new Christmas tree in Hopkins Green. I made sure to mention that to Patrick. This is from Jeremy. I made sure to mention to Patrick and Scott that feedback from the attendees. 80 entries for the Christmas parade tomorrow. Keep your fingers crossed for weather. Holiday promotions are going well. I've already had to restock cards for the Shop Small sweepstakes and the holiday gift guide. They've been published on the website for about 2 weeks. Shop Small Saturday event slated for this Saturday afternoon in downtown. We'll have some live entertainment, a snow machine in Hopkins Green to go along with the tree. And voting for the favorite holiday window display contest. Holiday Church Open House is slated for Friday on the 19th from 4 to 6. More details will be published on the website about that.
Terrific. And if there's an announcement of a postponement, do you know what the protocol is for tomorrow's weather?
I would
and rain?
imagine it's going to go through social media and maybe the city.
They'll announce by 2:00.
By 2:00. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Planning Commission, Ms. Strong.
Sure. We have not met since council's last meeting, but two items coming up. There will be a comprehensive plan input session on Tuesday, December 9th at 5:30 at the Rara Piavano building at 350 Spotswood Drive. That's for the community come and input on the revisions to the comprehensive plan, for our 5-year review of it. And then at our December 11th meeting, next Thursday, we have an item of business, W&L. There's a W&L application for a master plan amendment to authorize a reduction in a minimum building setback for the proposed Founders Hall at the corner of Washington Street and Lee Avenue. And that's all I have.
Very good. Any questions for Ms. Strong? It's the next Planning Commission meeting here that you'll be taking up the Washington Lee
Right.
request.
Yes.
Very good. And comprehensive plan at Piavano building?
Yes.
Thank
On
you.
Tuesday, December 9th, 5:30.
Very good. Thank you very much. Regional Tourism, Mr. Betts, no report. Raro, Mr. Ziegler.
The Raro Board of Directors met yesterday. We unfortunately accepted the resignation from a Buena Vista representative, Bryson Adams. Bryson's been a tremendous board member. His business is thriving. His kids are growing up. His wife is an assistant lacrosse coach at SVU, and he just had to step away from the board responsibilities, but he's always willing to help in any way that he can. So we begrudgingly accepted his resignation. Buena Vista does have an opportunity, and I do believe they're discussing it, of appointing a council member to our board. Currently, they have they've had two great representatives, but not a elected official. And Leslie Ayers represents the county on our board. I'm obviously from Lexington, and I feel like both the county and Lexington have a special connectivity because of that. And maybe Buena Vista will consider putting a council member on our board. We would welcome anyone, of course. Just an anecdote, we're talking about this rec center potentially being built in the county. And next week, for example, on Thursday, a lot of our local schools have events that are in the schools, maybe in the gym or maybe just in the schools. And the schools kind of reached out and said, hey, we have a school function, please no Raro activities. And that happens time to time. That's perfectly fine when there's good communication like that. But just as an example, we have 59 basketball teams. We have 449 kids, boys and girls, playing basketball. And that meant that just Thursday, just on our whiteboard, 30 practices were essentially canceled like that. And, you figure it out, but that's where we are lacking in gym space. And so 449 kids, 59 teams. Last year, we had 419 kids playing basketball. One of the increases is in our girls program. We have 25 more girls playing basketball this year than last year. We have 178 this year. And we really want to give credit to what we believe was one of the drivers of the increased participation. SVU did a girls basketball clinic this year. They attracted 54 kids to that clinic. That's a ton of kids. That's a ton of parents getting their kids to play basketball. And then a lot of those kids joined our program. So we're excited about that. Once we flip the calendar to 2026, we'll start adult basketball when we can find gym space, when we figure that out. And so even more people will be playing basketball in the community. So just kind of anecdotally sharing what we know. We need gym space. Lexington is a tremendous partner in making our gyms available just about every night of the week after our own practices. You've heard me before say that, of course, Lexington and Rockbridge County Schools have an MOU with Raro that essentially says that we have access. Buena Vista continues to not have an MOU with Raro. We don't really have access to any of their gyms, but we believe we're making progress of getting access to their gyms when they're available, because our executive director met with their new superintendent of schools and it is a priority with their athletics director to work on that. So we're excited that that could be a possibility for the first time ever.
Fantastic. Good stuff going on. Yes, please pass along my personal appreciation, and I'm sure council's, to Bryson for his work and the things that he brought to Raro.
Sometimes board members just attend meetings, and there's a role. I mean, we need people to attend meetings. We need quorums. Bryson took a leadership role, not just on the finance committee of Raro, but also he was the leader. He was the driving force in us beginning to expand our flag football offerings and really looking at tackle football. And we owe that to him. You know, that was an uncomfortable conversation for many years about, dare we, take away or change tackle football, even though the data really shows that kids shouldn't be tackling each other. And it was Bryson that finally brought forth what quite honestly was a research project that we could not ignore the data, and the folks that maybe had reservations they couldn't ignore the data. And the data says you shouldn't be tackling if you're a kid. And so that's why we're providing this option for flag football. And I give all the credit to Bryson. Politically, he's like, people weren't happy with me, but he knew it was the right thing. And so all the credit goes to Bryson.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Ziegler?
What age does basketball start at?
Our rookies start at about 5-6 years old. The YMCA actually offers basketball for younger, 3 and 4. We don't step on each other's toes, and that's perfectly fine. That the Y has some programs for even younger. So your daughter,
Get her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get her ready. Get some shoes. Get a ball in her hands.
Yeah.
Good work. Threshold.
No report.
Thank you, Ms. Alexander. I'll piggyback a little bit what Mr. Ziegler said. There are 24 boards and commissions that we have the opportunity to participate and or have representation, and not all of them demand or require elected officials to be members, but there's so many more opportunities for you all to serve. We're thankful for community services board members and others that do serve, and that connectivity with city council. Things like Raro, our regional, a lot of times it's very important to have that connectivity and frequent interaction with folks. So thank you for representing the regional, the Raro board in particular. And when I saw 24, I was thinking divided by 6, just what you need, more meetings. Just kidding. I won't do that to you. For my report, I bring Camille Miller's name to you for the Department of Social Services vacancy vacated by Michelle Hentz. Her term was up August 31st of this year, and would ask for council's consideration for her to serve immediately and serve a term that would conclude August 31st of 2029.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion, a second. Any discussion? I'll just say that Camille has a tremendous amount of energy and talent with the skills, and I think it'll match up really well with what Department of Social Services needs for structure and support, and she'll be a very valuable board member, and excited for her for your consideration. And with that, I'll ask for a roll call vote. Mr. Driscoll.
Aye.
Ms. Strawn. Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Betts. Ms. Alexander. Motion carries unanimously, and again, excited for Camille's service on that board. And again, as a reminder, have vacancy on the Community Services Board. There's certain criteria on that, so we going to work with Kim to find someone that meets the criteria. I think there's a residency and some other circumstances to outfit for that board position. On Tuesday, I attended the I-81 corridor or committee that the General Assembly put together, I think about 8 years ago, looking at and empowering some gas tax to provide improvements and enhancements for safety on I-81. A lot of those can be seen currently with the improvements of the chevrons, making it more apparent that you're approaching curves, at the nighttime and then also in daytime. And then acceleration lanes and third lanes, such as the one that runs from Fairfield up, well, 195 to 200, partially up to 205. The approach that VDOT has taken is putting together a smart scale. So there are various reasons with input from the public, engineers, and scoring that comes up with the priorities for the projects. And for the Stanton district, there are about 8 different recommendations that total estimated $1 to $2 billion to build out, widening in Augusta County and Rockbridge County, and then some projects in Shenandoah and Rockingham County as well. So glad to share any of the details with you that you'd like, but our John Good, who is the Commonwealth Transportation Board member based out of the Winchester area, unbeknownst to the chair or any of the other members, brought a revised recommendation, taking the 2 projects in Rockbridge County on I-81 that are ranked 13th and 14th and lowered them to about 23 and 24 and bumped up hit the projects in his area. It was frowned upon by the Secretary of Transportation as well as the board chair that he was making this recommendation on the floor without consulting staff or any of the folks in the room. So it wasn't well received. And I was thrilled to make the recommendation, the motion to approve the staff recommended funding scenario, which keeps in place those 2 projects in our community, which are scored much higher. And the secretary did a very nice job of explaining the importance of having a process and scoring and how when things score, they're a higher priority. So very educational for those in the audience as well as for our CTB. But I asked the city manager after that experience, I know probably about 8 years ago, there's a gentleman who's since retired who was the Commonwealth Transportation Board representative from the same area. And he was very engaged and wanted to do a dog and pony, see what Rockbridge County was all about, and had him come down, see some of the projects that are on our list for capital improvements and things that we're working on for Smart Scale and for I-81. And so at some point in time in the future, we're going to offer and invite Mr. Good to come down. It's also Terry Laird out of Stanton. Both are in the Stanton district as representatives for the CTB, but he's very supportive, very engaged, and aware of the projects and benefits that these projects are providing into the future. So I would like to say I represented you well, didn't embarrass anybody, namely myself, for the city. And the work that the I-81 committee does make recommendations to the CTB, who then makes approval and moves it on to VDOT for programming. So nothing is a rubber stamp, and we'll see where it goes from here. But I believe the CTB statewide will value our review and recommendation that we sent along. But just wanted to make you aware of that endeavor. Always interesting. And if you haven't been to Blue Ridge Community College, they have a beautiful facility. It's very impressive. And I'm reminded when I go to things like that and things at our local Mountain Gateway, what impressive programming and facilities we have to help educate people through the community college system. So, lastly, just wanted to, for those of you who are there, I offered a proclamation to Skip Hess for his contributions of starting the annual processional, and after 30 years, handed off to Logan Davis. He has big shoes to fill, but I think is very capable. But a big thank you publicly to Skip Hess and his partner, Kurt Frieden, who had passed away a few years ago. Skip has kept it going, and very thankful because the number of people and the joy it brings. Lighting the tree is a great fun and a great annual event. And unless you have any questions, that's my report, and I'll call on the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. One thing we're trying to organize potentially next Thursday would be the opportunity for council and city hall staff to get a look inside of the city hall while it's under construction. We'll be sending out more information about that. We're trying to organize that before the holidays. And we're going to get you some more details. If it doesn't work out, we'll find another time for you to do that. But Kate and I will be coordinating that next week, or coordinating that with you tomorrow in order to get it scheduled for next week. As you recall, we have a work session scheduled for next Thursday, so this would be before that work session. I had the privilege earlier this week to attend and participate in 3 separate meetings that are follow-up meetings from the Rocks to Roofs Housing Symposium, one of which was, of course, attended by Vice Mayor Alexander in her role in supporting Housing for All. The team is continuing. These meetings were incredibly well attended. I mean, it was a full house, and we had them at the Innovation Center at the high school. They served lunch, and it was just a fantastic 3 meetings. The goal of all these meetings is to figure out how we translate the learnings from the Housing Symposium into policy actions. So I'll keep you apprised of that. Going to be working on a bit of a report for council in the near term on overall housing strategies that have emerged and how they might fit into what we're doing. As you might expect, we're monitoring the weather situation. This has been referenced a couple times in our discussion up till now. The forecast seems to be worsening. And the latest update that I received from Chief Ty Dickerson indicates that we might get up to 3 inches of snow sometime starting after midnight into the early morning, which might make the commute particularly problematic for our employees and for our residents. DPW crews have already been pre-salting the bridges, sidewalks, and public facilities, and they've already split into 2 work crews so that we can optimize and sustain their effort for fighting any bad weather. If it does snow as forecast, I would fully expect that I might have to delay the opening of municipal offices tomorrow. I've communicated that to colleagues. That is not a decision. I will make the decision in the morning. I believe strongly we shouldn't declare defeat until after we see something actually fly. Having said that, I think it's important that we prioritize the safety of our residents and our employees. So I'll be working with Kate Beard if and when we make that determination that we'll be delaying the start of opening city offices. It's incredibly unlikely that we will close offices tomorrow, in part because tomorrow is December 5th, which is the deadline for people to pay their first half of their property taxes. Most people have already paid, but there are some people who always want to pay on the last day. And so we want to make sure that those residents, those property owners who want to pay at the last minute have that opportunity. Why? Not because mainly because we don't want their penalty fees. We don't have discretion on the 10% penalty. It's not up to us. If somebody is late, we can't waive a 10% penalty fee. So we're going to be open tomorrow. And again, it might be delayed, but we'll stay open until 4:30 to receive your tax payments at 626 Waddell, which is where the treasurer's office is temporarily relocated until after the city hall renovations. So we'll be there to receive your tax payments regardless. And Chuck, if you need an assistance, we will send a snowplow to bring you to 626 Waddell. Okay.
And he did say we.
Yeah, by which I mean I'll make a phone call. Yeah, and you'll have a truck.
That you'll be charged for that ride.
Also related to the paying of property taxes, we're advising Main Street Lexington and working with MLS. We know that some of the floats for the parade stage at the Maury River Middle School, and they're not supposed to arrive before 4:30. If they arrive after 4:30, that's fantastic. But some people might want to arrive early and start to decorate their floats. That has the potential to create traffic snarls there. So we're we're working with Main Street Lexington to try and make sure that they avoid a conflict. Similarly, we've communicated with Rockbridge County in this building. They also have a tax deadline tomorrow. And Main Street Lexington will be closing roads and starting to tow cars by 5 o'clock. If they are in the way of what's already been marked. Finally, as has been mentioned, it's up to Main Street Lexington whether they cancel or postpone the parade. We'll be ready to go. Rain, snow, sleet, shine, whatever it might be, but we'll be ready, but we'll follow them. Thank you. Happy to answer any questions.
Is there a prohibition or restriction on allowing for a grace period, or is that something that can or can't be done in the future? Like, for example, like for inclement weather, like is it just because that's the way our law is written, or does our law have to be written that way? Does that make sense?
I want to say during COVID, some jurisdictions would amend their local ordinances to permit a grace period. But I think it would require at a minimum an amendment of the ordinance. I'm not 100% certain about that, but that's my expectation.
And I would simply add, and it's a good legal question to ask and perhaps have answered, but I've just simply been told by the Commissioner of Revenue and the Treasurer that they have no discretion.
And that is true as it currently stands, to my understanding.
I was just wondering if,
I think the locality might have a little flexibility there, but none, I think it can be not many take advantage of it if they do that.
yeah, I would just think for like an emergency or inclement weather or something might be something we would look into.
Post one.
Mhm.
So if it's post one, that's fine. I don't know. Yeah, how they run their offices.
I paid mine tonight, so it doesn't affect me, but just
Reminder, we don't want your penalties. We don't wish to impose a fee. We have a tax bill satisfied with you paying that on time.
Very good.
I think, Nick, I had one jurisdiction that changed their ordinance to allow grace period, and they went back and had to amend the ordinance to go back to the normal process.
Yeah.
I recall.
When it comes to collecting, it's a deadline, not a due date. Got to get in or face the penalty. Thank you, sir. Any questions for the city manager? City attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to go back to two items we talked about last meeting. One, I had mentioned that there would be an alley vacation issue coming forward in the near future. And if I may have forecast that it would be coming forward at the second meeting of December. And if I did, I was mistaken. There's a need to develop a plat for that vacation. And so that'll push it back at least into January. I do understand the applicant is preparing that plat, however. And then after the last meeting, we had obviously had some discussion about charter amendments, and I knew the time was going to be compressed, so I went ahead and put together a resolution which would outline the potential changes. I did not mean, however, to presuppose what this body would do, and feel free at all, by all means to edit it, mark it up, change it however you see fit. Even the edits within the body are within the text are not mandatory. You have flexibility there. So when and you may already have received it, but when you do receive it, I just wanted you to be aware of that was the impetus behind it, was to get something there because of the first time frame that you could work.
Very good.
Just wanted to mention those two items. Happy to answer any questions.
Members of council have any questions? And we're scheduled for 5:30 on the 11th at
I thought 6:30.
6:30. I'm sorry. That's why I'm asking. 6:30. Thank you. 6:30 at 539. Very good. Excellent. All right. I'm not aware of any new business. And given that, we'll do have a closed meeting. The closed meeting that we have before Ms. Alexander reads us in. Don't anticipate we'll be taking any action once we reconvene. The only action that we will be taking is adjournment, I anticipate. So you're welcome to stay, but could be a little while we discern the discussing of personal matters. Ms. Alexander, if you can read us in, please.
Move that the Lexington City Council convene in a closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code 3711A1 to discuss and consider candidates for employment as the city's chief of police.
Second.
Thank you for your second. Roll call vote. Ms. Strong?
Aye.
Mr. Smith? Mr. Sigler?
Aye.
Mr. Driscoll?
Aye.
Mr. Betts?
Aye.
Mayor Friedman?
Aye.
And I vote aye. And it is 8:09. We'll now go into